Today, Monday the 11th of February 2013, saw the first resignation of a Pope-elect in over 600 years. Pope Benedict XVI will step down from office on the 28th of February. The word Pope, of course, comes from the Latin papa, or in Greek papas, a child's word for father. The office of the Pope is, of course, the Bishop of Rome and the leader of the worldwide Catholic Church. Now, Pope Benedict XVI was elected on the 19th of April 2005, following the passing of his predecessor, Pope John Paul II, on the 2nd of April 2005. The office of Pope is, of course, known as the papacy. Now, there was a statement given, and this is the text statement taken from the BBC News website, and it's a full statement from the Vatican. Dear brothers, I have convoked to you this consistory not only for the 3 canonizations, but also to communicate to you a decision of great importance for the life of the Church. After having repeatedly examined my conscience before God, I have come to the certainty that my strength, due to an advanced age, are no longer suited to an adequate exercise of the Petrine ministry. I am well aware that this ministry, due to its essential spiritual nature, must be carried out not only with words and deeds, but no less with prayer and suffering. However, in today's world, subject to so many rapid changes and shaken by questions of deep relevance for the life of the faith, in order to steer the ship of St. Peter and proclaim the gospel, both strength of mind and body are necessary. Strength which in the last few months has deteriorated in me to the extent that I have had to recognize my incapacity to adequately fulfill the ministry entrusted to me. For this reason, and well aware of the seriousness of this act, with full freedom I declare that I renounce the ministry of Bishop of Rome, successor of St. Peter, entrusted to me by the Cardinals on 19th of April 2005, in such a way that as from 28th of February 2013 at 2000 hours, the See of Rome, the See of St. Peter, will be vacant, and a conclave to elect the new Supreme Pontiff will have to be convoked by those whose competence it is. Dear brothers, I thank you most sincerely for all the love and work which you have supported me in my ministry, and I ask pardon for all my defects. And now let us entrust the Holy Church to the care of our Supreme Pastor, our Lord Jesus Christ, and implore His Holy Mother Mary, so that she may assist the Cardinal Fathers with her maternal solicitude in electing a new Supreme Pontiff. With regards to myself, I wish to also devotedly serve the Holy Church of God in the future through a life dedicated to prayer. That was the statement given just earlier today, just a few short hours ago. Now, obviously, as he stated there will be a conclave gathered to elect a new pope, and I'll go through what happens in that momentarily. And as he said on there, he, with full freedom, resigned from office. Now, that is a very necessary thing. In order to have his resignation accepted, he must resign free from any pressures on him, and with a free mind and spirit. Of course, he will be stepping down from the 28th of February, and they are hoping to have a new pope in time of for Easter, which is of course one of the major celebrations, major events in the year of the Catholic Church. Now, the election of a new pope. It has been several different ways during the many years. Of course, Pope Benedict XVI is actually the 265th Pope elect, and he, as I said, is 1 year older than Pope John Paul II when he sadly passed away. So obviously, it is with regret, of course, that he has resigned, and I'm sure he will continue to serve in any way he can. Now, the election of a new Pope will take place within the next couple of weeks, of course. We are very fast approaching Easter. The way that it is going to do is, of course, the conclave. Now, the election of the Pope. Traditionally, the vote was conducted by acclamation, by selection by committee, or plenary vote. Acclamation was the simplest procedure, consisting entirely of a voice vote, and was last used in 1621. That is kind of like what you see in Parliament nowadays. The ayes or the noes have it, but they would of course stand there, and for however many candidates they would say aye or no in voting, and of course the most ayes would be elected to vote. Now, Pope John Paul II abolished vote by acclamation by selection by committee, and henceforth election will be by full vote by ballot of the Sacred College of Cardinals. Now, the election of the Pope almost always takes place in the Sistine Chapel, a place of great history and honour in the Catholic Church, in a sequestered meeting called the conclave, so called because the cardinal election are locked in, cum clave, i.e. with key, until they elect a new pope. And as we saw in 2005, where it was more open than ever before, although of course we did not see the process, the cameras were right up to the door, and it showed you the door physically being locked. And it is still, as in hundreds of years ago, the doors are fully locked, and only in emergencies and dire need are the doors unlocked, and any members of the conclave allowed to leave the area. Now, three cardinals are chosen by lot to collect the votes of absent cardinal electors by reason of illness. 3 are also chosen by lot to count the votes, and another 3 are chosen to to review the count of votes. The ballots are distributed, and each cardinal elector writes the name of his choice on it, and pledges aloud that he is voting for one whom under God I think ought to be elected, before folding and depositing his vote on a plate atop a large chalice placed on the altar. Now, in 2005, I must say it's come clear that in the 2005 conclave, there was a special urn used for this purpose instead of a chalice and plate. The plate is then used to drop the ballot into the chalice, making it difficult for the electors to insert multiple ballots. Now, before being read, the ballots are counted while still folded. If the number of ballots do not match the number of electors, the ballots are burned unopened, and a new vote is held. This is, of course, to ensure full and fair voting. Otherwise, each ballot is read aloud by the presiding cardinal, who pierces the ballot with a thread and needle, stringing all the ballots together and tying the ends of the thread to ensure accuracy and honesty. Balloting continues until someone is elected by a 2/3 majority. Now, this is where we come to the part that most people are. Now, in 2005, as in past years, I'm sure, many people were at St. Peter's Square, and this is the part that many people recognise as the choosing of the new parliament: the smoke signals. And I'm not talking about the old type smoke signals. It does take a few minutes for this to be assured, because the process of burning, as everybody knows who starts a fire, it does take several minutes for it to become clear. And I'll explain how they make this two smokes. Now, one of the prominent aspects, as I said, is the means by which the results of the ballot are announced to the world. Once the ballots are counted and bound together, they are burned in a special stove erected in the Sistine Chapel, with the smoke escaping through a small chimney visible from St. Peter's Square, as I said, where many people will gather, and certainly they will gather again very soon. The ballots for an unsuccessful vote are burned along with a chemical compound to create black smoke, or fumenta nera. Just simply translates to black smoke. Traditionally, wet straw was used to produce the black smoke, but it wasn't completely reliable. And as I said, there can be mixed signals, and it's a bit of. I don't want to say this wrong, but it's kind of embarrassing if it seems the wrong declaration is made. Now, of course, so they use the chemical compound. It's more reliable than the straw. When a vote is successful, the ballots are burned alone, sending white smoke from Manta Bianca through the chimney and announcing to the world that there has been an election of the new pope. And at the end of the conclave, that elected pope, which I said 2005 was Pope Benedict XVI. It was actually 2005 they had church bells ringing as well. As I said, it was a bit of. I mean, the weather was okay, but I think it was slightly something to help people recognise that there was a new pope, because there had been several ballots and several black smoke signals because of these ballots, and because it had been a couple of unsuccessful attempts in order to vote. And of course, Pope Benedict XVI, formerly known as Cardinal Ratzenberger, was one of the people who actually held the service and the funeral of Pope John Paul II. So certainly within the next couple of weeks, I would imagine we will have the conclave being called. It does take a little bit of a few legal wranglings, just minor ceremonies, of course, takes place that before the conclave gets together, obviously to establish who is available, who is healthy enough to travel, and who's what the exact setup is going to be. And as I said, it's done under lock and key, which we saw very close to the door last time in 2005. Of course, it said we saw the door be locked, and it said not unless it's a dire emergency do they allow the cardinal electors to leave the area. So certainly a bit of a shocking sequence of events today, the resignation of Pope Benedict XVI. As I said, he is a year older than Pope John Paul II was when he passed away. Pope Benedict XVI is now 85 years old. It's obviously been a terrible strain on him since 2005 to be in such a major position. Of course, I do hope that members of different religious organisations can be pushed by whoever the successor is. And I know certainly organised religion is far from perfect. Many organisations are, many religions are. They're very, very far from perfect. I really am hoping that whoever is the successor can hopefully be young enough and hopefully have the time to push some of these religions together to send out positive messages and to enforce positive actions regarding the treatments of human beings by one another, regardless of whatever group, race, creed, nationality you are, and however many other different groups there are, to push them all together and to help to send out a positive message on the treatment of all humans as equals.